I started sneaker botting in late 2018, and throughout the years there were many different points in time when certain bots were obliterating their competition. Sometimes the advantage difference would be so wide that if you didn't own that certain bot, you didn't have a chance at all. Today we are going to be revisiting the most dominant AIO bots between 2018 to 2023. Before we get into this top 5 list, it's important to note that I will only be selecting all-in-one bots, so they had to be effective on more than one platform. And they also needed to be a public bot, which means the general public had a chance to buy this bot for either retail or resale price. Just as a disclaimer, the performance of all of these bots in the present day are not represented by the highlights that I will be talking about. One last thing, this is for the USA region and will be solely based on my opinion and observations, so you don't have to agree with this. Without further ado, let's get into it. Kicking it off with number 5, Seoul AIO. Seoul AIO was one of the first bots that were able to successfully implement a working AI solution to their bot for Shopify HCAPTCHAs. HCAPTCHA was an anti-bot measure which asks a question upon adding to cart, and then it will ask you to solve a puzzle. It managed to automate this entire process. At the time, no other bots had this feature, which left the rest of the Shopify bots in the dust for any of the websites that implemented HCAPTCHA between mid-2021 and early 2022. Not only that, but this bot was lethal on Yeezy Supply, and its performance was also quite good on other websites such as Finish Line, JD, and Dick's Sporting Goods. Where are they now? Unfortunately, the bot is no longer under active development. Number 4, Eve AIO. Second place to CyberSoul back in mid-2018, this bot was super consistent. If you had this bot during this time period, you were able to get tons of checkouts. However, at the time, CyberSoul was still the undisputed best bot of this era. But for the few times that CyberSoul didn't work, Eve users took the entire stock. They're also one of the first bots, if not the first bot, to implement a quick task feature, which allowed owners of the bot to run tasks for shock drops within a few clicks, making Eve the best bot for Shopify shock drops at one point. Their performance was S tier on almost every website it supported, which included but is not limited to Shopify, Supreme, Footsites, and many other miscellaneous websites. Where are they now? They're still around. They still have regular updates, but despite that, it is widely considered to be an outdated sneaker bot. The bot technically still works, but it realistically can't compete with the other bots that are currently effective when it comes to those low stock, difficult to get releases. However, it looks like it's still useful for people that bought toys and other collectibles that have less competition, since the bot is effective on miscellaneous websites such as Big Cartel, Squarespace, Box Lunch, Hot Topic, and more. Number 3, Nike ShoeBot. Nike ShoeBot was a true innovator in the space. They were the first to implement a built-in monitor into the bot, which allowed members to quick task shock drops with just a single click. And they were also the first to implement what is now widely known as automations. In Nike ShoeBot, it was known as Blue Tasks. This is where you were able to run for shock drops without even being at your computer. Keep in mind, this was in late 2018, and it wasn't until 2022, 4 years later, when many other bot developers started to adopt this feature. NSB was also able to overcome some of Shopify's first attempts at anti-bots, most notably during the Air Jordan 1 Union High drop, where users took the vast majority of the stock, with many users being able to cop double-digit pairs. It was also incredibly consistent on all the other websites it supported, mainly Footsites, Yeezy Supply, Adidas, and more. What made this even more impressive is that they had an always in-stock business model. And at the time, this was very rare. You were able to buy a 1-year license key for only $500, back when bots were routinely going for $2,000. As a result, this bot was highly underrated. But the reality is, they went toe-to-toe with some of the best at the time. But as a huge plus, they had a big advantage with features that no other bots had. Where are they now? Throughout most of 2021 and 2022, the bot technically still worked, but was widely considered to be outdated. It was able to take some wins here and there, but mainly only for sneakers that were considered to be easy releases. However, they have a big new update in the works, also known as NSB 3.0, where their team is trying their best to recapture dominance in the space through even more innovation. The progress looks promising, with a few beta members being able to buy even some of the most difficult drops. But as of right this moment, it continues to struggle to compete effectively on a consistent basis against some of the top top bots right now. Number 2, Kodai. During mid-2019 to early 2021, this was the period when Shopify started to take anti-bots more seriously. At one point in time, it felt as if Kodai was the only bot that worked on some of the main Shopify websites, which meant that for many drops, Kodai users cleared stock. Even after some of the bots such as Balco and Cybersoul started to catch up to Kodai's Shopify performance, Kodai was still unbelievably consistent on Foot Sites, JD Finish Line, Yeezy Supply, and Supreme. They were able to maintain this consistency for an absurdly long time. Where are they now? Kodai is still around, and their team is still giving it their best shot to adapt to this fast-changing botting environment. They've recently added Nike to their lineup of supported websites and have found moderate success. Unfortunately though, the reign of unrelenting dominance has come to an end, at least for now. Before we get into the number 1 most dominant sneaker bot, here are a few honorable mentions. Valor and Wrath throughout 2022 to present. Unbelievable consistency throughout every website they support. They're considered to be the best bots out right this moment, but they've never really had an era where it felt like these were the only bots checking out everything. Mech AIO 2022. When they released the HCAP AI feature, this bot definitely took stock on all the HCapture websites, and they're really good on Yeezy Supply. As far as their other modules, however, such as Nike, Foot Sites, and Finish Line, I felt like they were too inconsistent. But if this was a top 6 AIO bots of all time instead of top 5, then I would have highly considered them to be on the 6th place. Stellar 2021. Back during the height of console and GPU botting, this was really the only bot you needed. It was S tier for almost every website it supported, and it was super cheap for the value that you got out of it. Unfortunately though, this is the most dominant sneaker bot list, and although they technically support sneaker websites, this was never considered to be a dominant sneaker bot. For the number 1 most dominant sneaker bot is Cybersoul. In all of 2018 and 2019, Cybersoul was the undisputed king of bots. It was double S tier in virtually every single website it supported, and this bot took stock for some of the most iconic releases. Many shoes from the Off-White The 10 collection, the first Jordan 1 Travis Scott's, Air Max 97 Sean Witherspoon's, several Yeezys, and many more. Furthermore, this was during a time when sneakers weren't region blocked, so it was very common for USA people to go for EU websites such as DSML, Slam Jam, etc. The cherry on top is that this was a time when profit margins were way higher, where you can regularly net anywhere between $100 to $250+ profit margin per sneaker. The sheer dominance lasted until about early 2020, but up until around the middle of 2021, they were always considered to be one of the best sneaker bots. The level of dominance combined with how long they were able to maintain that top bot status is something that might be almost impossible to replicate in today's sneaker botting landscape. Where are they now? Although their team never stopped working on the bot, there was a point where their bot was considered to be outdated. But they came out with a 5.0 update, which included a UI overhaul, along with several new features. Cybersoul is currently considered to be a very solid option for Shopify. This bot is also currently good for botters who flip toys and other collectibles, as they support miscellaneous websites such as Funko, Converse, and Hot Topic. For the EU/UK side of things, they have a very big offering as far as websites supported, such as Offspring, Off-White, Farfetch, Ambush, etc. Although their glory days have come to an end, at least for now, Cybersoul still plays a very important role in today's botting scene. Do you agree with my list? Let me know in the comments below.